Do you have a job that the average person doesn't even know exists? I'm a sign artist at a well-known neighborhood grocery chain. Everything in the store is written by hand, even down to the price tags on the shelves. I'm the one that wakes up at the crack of dawn to do this. Cute illustrations on the displays? Me. Awesome window paintings outside? Me. Hilarious cartoons and wall murals? All me. When I mention it to people, they have never noticed. For a while I repaired books at a library. I think most people assume that when books get old they are thrown away and bought new unless they are collectible. Well, the composition of books in a research university's library is very different from a local branch library, and almost everything we had was collectible in some way. Not necessarily monetarily valuable, but often rare. Many early 1900s books about local economic policies, and proceedings from city council meetings, and a whole lot of grad theses that had not been checked out once since their publication. TLDR. I once spent 4 hours gluing pictures of sad clowns into a book. For work I get to break into hospitals and steal things. It's referred to as a physical penetration test. It's an integral part of a risk assessment, which is required under 164.308 of HIPAA. I routinely pick locks, steal access badges, impersonate medical personnel, harvest data and credentials, crack passwords, and utilize various social engineering tactics. My official title is Information Security Consultant. I have a degree in Information Systems Management, as well as CCNA, Sec Plus, and CISA certifications. Here's the AMA. I install fake vaults in people's homes. I am responsible for breaking toys and write reports about them how they break. A totally different job from my previous job. Using promotions from online casinos to earn a living and travel the world. This is one of the major failings in the world today. I think the reason I hear so many teenagers saying I want to be a chef, hairdresser, police officer, mechanic, is because they straight up have no idea what kind of jobs people do, other than their parents maybe. They don't realize what is actually out there. You have all seen on the TV or movies where the little kids bring in their parents to talk to the class about what job they do. They need to ducking do this for teenagers. People could come in and tell these kids about jobs that actually ducking exist. They might find out about something they never knew was a job, and they might enjoy. Wow. Holy it balls. Easily my top comment ever. I guess my opinion resonates with other people out there. I'm glad. My field is medical illustration. I specifically do medical legal work, so for courtroom purposes. When I travel by airplane, I just claim to be a bartender again as it gets a little dull explaining over and over. On the plus side, I know what you look like on the inside. I didn't get it, but I once applied for a job as a heritage officer. Sounded normal enough, but it involved basically going around cemeteries photographing graves and keeping a log of them. It was so unusual I was desperate for it, not to mention working alone and out in the fresh air. So what do you? Oh, you know, look at graves. I make pig feed. They aren't just fed corn. A lot of science involved. Their diets change almost monthly with the weather, so we are constantly changing the nutrients we give them. Also a little nugget that blows my mind. Pigs naturally all bite each other's tails off as a dominance thing, like squirrels do. However, simply increasing their magnesium in the diet will make them not bite each other. For some reason it has a calming effect on them. I manage an adult literacy program. Most people think it is some sort of elaborate book club, or that I am mistaken and meant to say that I teach children to read and write. Sadly, my job exists because 1 in 6 adults are functionally illiterate where I live. I write instruction manuals for installing various equipment. Even the people I work with do not know what I do. Physical hydrogeologist. I image the ground using water flows. I string tennis rackets. My only clients are the 1%ers in town. I cut eyes out of dead people. I am an eye bank technician. I surgically remove corneas and whole eyes from donors for cornea transplants and research. I think most people don't want to know about my job. I make people do a shot of Screech, kiss a codfish and say funny thing. My official job title is Screecher in a It's a tourism job for the province of Newfoundland and I do it every day over the summer. Twice a day. It's a tradition here for welcoming people to the island and is basically the best job ever. I work for myspace.com and I'm not Tom. I drive tugboats. It's fun. I'm an assistant for an escort service. I lost my real, and pretty good, job about a month ago. Now I schedule appointments for escorts. Most of my friends know. My mom thinks I am a personal assistant. I kinda am. I am an analyst at an engineering company. I run to the store, get cookies and lime diet coke every day for my boss. I trim medical marijuana for dispensaries. I write manuals for tanks. How to operate them, how to repair them, etc. I do user interface design. Not only does the average person not know it exists, I can show my work to the average person and they won't see it. That's how I know when I did a good job. It sucks when software developers don't know it exists. Equine sports massage therapist. Not quite my job yet, but finishing certification in May 3. I am a graduate student. Even my advisor doesn't know I exist. I graduated with a degree in political science and minored in economics. I ended up becoming a compliance advisor for a registered financial firm. The good kind. I deal with securities regulation all day and make sure we don't screw over our clients. It is a job that I really enjoy doing. Has great growth opportunities. And is kind of easy to get into, since not many people know about it and are interested in it. My career has really taken off with all the regulation coming out. Dodd-Frank. And scandals. Madoff. I make 6 figures. I'm a channel manager at a YouTube network. I basically get paid to watch and maintain YouTube channels all day. My job didn't exist when I was in college. You know, whenever you click on YouTube to watch something but then you get redirected to a 30-second ad that you have to watch? Yeah. I target and put those there, as well as those annoying banner ads that instantly display whatever you've most recently searched for. I'm a professional prosthesis bra fitter. I fit women who have had a mastectomy, usually women who have had breast cancer. I work in nuclear power plants around the country when they shut down every 18 months or so. I go inside reactors and refurbish and test motor actuators on valves to ensure safe operating conditions. A few quick things in case anyone is curious. No, it's nothing like The Simpsons. Yes, I am exposed to radiation and no, I don't glow at night. This exposure is constantly monitored and relatively safe. It is a very well paid job but somewhat dangerous due to safety concerns and higher levels of quality we must adhere to. I've considered the idea of doing an AMA if anyone would be curious. I start on Friday as a standardized patient. Essentially, med students practice their bedside manner on me. Insert type of job here, manager. X. I manage a group of incredibly smart people. I'm not super smart or anything myself, but those who are generally just hopeless at interacting with others in a normal way, getting work done on time, or generally following directions. They always need one normal person to keep them on track. I'm not personally changing the world, but they would never manage it without me. Managers get a bad rap a lot because the term gets used for anyone who is in charge of a team, when in fact that person is generally there because the company doesn't trust the other people. That's not managing. That's supervising. And a good manager is often a terrible supervisor. Managers are in it for their team. Supervisors for the company. Actual management is extremely difficult but very rewarding in the end, and it's not a degree you need. Just a skill set you can pick up almost anywhere. Edited to say, from the number of people commenting that this is like, insert TV show, that goes back to the original question. Yes, those better off TED office space IT crowd jobs actually do exist out there. I sell Lego pieces. I buy bulk Lego sets, normally from Amazon or whoever else online has the best deals. Part out the pieces, and list them individually on my online store. My customers are generally one of 2 people. Adults who want 1000 of something, but don't want to buy 100 of a set to get it, such as a red 2x4 brick to build an enormous structure. Parents whose kid wants a specific minifigure that happens to only come in a set that costs a lot of money. The kid doesn't want super duper playset number 12. He wants the gold ninja. So instead of spending $130 for the big set, they can spend $15 on just the figure, and it works out well for both of us. Generally I can part out a set for around 200-250% of its purchase price. More if I find it on clearance or in a really good sale. My wife and I also make monthly trips to our nearest Lego store once state over to buy hundreds of dollars of pick-a-brick pieces to put into our inventory. Our store is still pretty small, but there are many people who have become wealthy doing it after a lot of hard work. It requires some initial investment, willingness to run to the post office to occasionally ship a 3-cent part, and excellent customer service skills. The largest hazard of the job, your chances of stepping on a Lego in the middle of the night go up substantially when you have over 100,000 pieces in the house. I spent a summer balancing beer trucks. The object of job is to make sure that the beer truck is as full as possible at all times, ideally picking up on skid of empties when delivering one skid of beer. Beer truck Tetris. It's a thing. Met a guy last week who buys the used metal dentists use for fillings and crowns, etc. Apparently dentists use a lot of precious metal. I make products look pretty for a home shopping television station. Not me, but one of my best friends writes jingles for commercials. Advertising firms fly him out to Nashville like once every other month for a week and tell him what kind of vibe they want, and he just thinks of 30 seconds of goofy it to give them. I'm an industrial hygienist. It's a type of health and safety consultant. I'm a woman in my 20s, and before clients meet me, like only discuss quotes or need consultation via email, they refer to me as the mold guy, the asbestos guy, the insect guy, etc. I'm the person your insurance company hires to investigate losses. You call when you have mold and don't know what to do, or when your factory may be violating a health and safety code. I come out. I'm not from OSHA. I'm a consultant. I don't care what you do on the job, but best believe I will make a recommendation in my report based on your unsafe practices. But seriously, that's all I can do, make recommendations. There are things in the world that could happen and cause civilizations to flip upside down. I write those plans for people to follow to prevent things from going tits up. Emergency management, woo. I work for Cha-Cha. I think some people think I'm a robot when I'm actually not. I monitor offenders that are on conditional release, house arrest, etc. Some of them have an ankle bracelet that locates them via GPS, and others are under the voice recognition system. This is a system in where the offender gets a check-in call at random times of their curfew. There is a recorded version of their voice, and this software verifies that is the same voice. If they fail the call, I call the offender and ask him/her questions to verify their identity. Depending on the risk level, I can call the police to report a breach. I am a travel trainer. I teach people with learning disabilities how to use public transport independently. It's an awesome job. I set up breakdown labs for the engineering department of a university, so pretty much I read it for 7 hours a day. I work in audio post. When you watch a movie, TV show, almost all the sounds you hear were not captured by the mics on set. Also, about half the dialogue you hear was added months later during sessions called ADR sessions. When you see booms on set, they are typically only used as a reference. We'll try to use as much production audio as possible, but it's not always possible. We'll spend hours just working with a scene where 2 people are sitting at a table adding the tiniest details. Last but not least, all the sounds you hear in cops, engine noise, halley blades, gunshots, sirens, maneuvers, are all fake typically. Sorry. I put handles on coffins. That's it. Most people know someone makes coffins. They don't know that you can have the job to just put the handles on. I go to various retirement homes pretending to be looking for one for my mother-in-law. I'm given tours and have to write reports as well as make recorded phone calls. I'm sent in by head offices so that they can find any problems in the homes. Sports information data. I gave up explaining what all I do and just tell people statistics. I'm an orthoepist. I work at an audiobook publisher, where I research the correct pronunciation of people, places, things, and foreign languages, so that the actors reading the book sound like they know what they're talking about. As far as I know, there are only 2 of us in the country. I put music in movie trailers. Pretty random and pretty awesome. I work at a manufacturing plant called Industries for the Blind, where around half the employees are totally blind and most of the people that work there, including me, have some sort of vision problem. I write news stories about superhero films, TV shows, video games for a number of websites. Most people don't know that people on the internet live for this kind of stuff and that I get paid pretty well. I test toilet paper. I work for a contracted company in a paper mill and test toilet paper, paper towels, and facial tissue using specialized machinery. In other words, I keep your butt happy. I sell fresh fruits and vegetables to people online at Fruit My Cube and deliver it to them at work. When I started in 2010, I delivered out of the back of my car. Today, I have 9 cargo vans and deliver to 700 offices in the St. Louis area. I think I'm most proud of my 404 page. Yeah, I'm in a maintenance group that maintains fiber optic networks for Fortune 100 companies and governments. I make all of McDonald's infrastructure signs. We ship to every McDonald's in the US. No shirt, no shoes, no service. That's me. I'm a juggler. Many times, I get the response, "Oh, you can make money doing that? Like, enough money?" Yes, I can. And many times, I make a lot more than them. I'm a custom bladdersmith niffermaker. When I told my fiancee's parents what I do, I could pretty much see the giant question mark floating over their heads. Then came the question, what the hell is a bladdersmith? It had never really dawned on me before then that tons of people just assume that all knives come from the store and are made in mass quantity in some obscure factory. The first time they came to an actual knife show, they both came out looking like they had just visited another planet. I make knives, swords, axes, basically whatever has a blade and seems like fun. I forge weld my own Damascus, actually, pattern welded steel to be specific, and hammer things out all anvil and forge style. It's a bit grungy at times, but there's a tremendous amount of reward in holding your finished work, knowing that it all started off as a pile of steel bars and a hunk of ancient walrus or mammoth tusk that had been hidden in the ground for the last 20,000 years or so is just beyond words. It gives my life a sense of purpose and a reason to keep my head on straight instead of falling back into old bad habits. It's definitely a bit obscure by normal standards, but I love my job so much it's ridiculous. I could never see myself doing anything else. I am research coordinator at a major university. I recruit people for studies, run labs, collect psychological data and biological samples, and organize data. I majored in bio and anthropology, and other than being a teacher or going to grad school, I really did not know what my degree would be useful for. So I am happy this job exists. I get to do science and use my people skills. I love it. I work for a company that conducts online investigations using social media. So when a person who claims they're hurt and cannot work, we try to catch them in a lie by monitoring their online activity. I relay phone calls for deaf people. I don't know if that qualifies as a job the average person doesn't know exists, but on a good proportion of the calls I handle per day people hang up on me thinking it's a wind up. I am an online bidet saleswoman. I answer all kinds of questions about people taking it and then cleaning themselves. You could say it's a dirty job. Wildfire firefighter. I fight forest fires. And although most people in the province that I live in are very aware that these people exist, I have met lots of people that thought that regular structural firefighters did all that. Also, lots of people really don't understand how many fires there are every year. From the statistics we get, it's still about 50/50 human natural starts. People need to learn how to figure it out in the forest. ATM technician. No one seems to understand that the money box sometimes doesn't want to give out money. Though I don't know why I'm posting this, as we are nearing 7,000 comments here and I'm pretty much pissing into an ocean of piss. I am a professional conservator. I work for museums and stately homes, as well as private collectors. I receive objects and artifacts to clean, repair and conserve in order for them to be retained and not deteriorate. My portfolio includes medieval armor, Wooden Egyptian statues from 2600 BC. Paleolithic hand axes c. 250,000 BP. Corroded nails from Blackbeard's ship the Queen Anne's Revenge. Ancient Greek pottery, Roman glassware and numerous other items. I used to work for a text messaging service called 199 Buddy. Basically, tweens would text in their name and suburb, and within 3 minutes I would send them back a funny message including their friend's school, workplace, sports team, whatever else I could find out about them for about $4.50 a pop. I'm an industrial scaffolder. We work in oil refineries, chemical plants, etc. When other trades, welders, electricians, need to work on a piece of equipment that can't be reached safely from the ground, we erect, build, temporary elevated work platforms for them. Could be 10 feet up or 200 feet up. It's one part engineering, one part assembly, one part manual labor. We work mostly outside, in any weather conditions, except lightning, at extreme heights, hanging off the side of a 200 feet tower in -30 weather with a 40-mile-per-hour wind. Building a hanging scaffold for electricians to change a light bulb, all in a day's work. It pays very well, but is physically demanding and not for anyone who's afraid of heights. TL. Doctor, I'm an erection specialist. I am a blueberry farmer, so if you ever go to the store and buy fresh blueberries or blackberries, it could be my handiwork. People are consistently very surprised by my career. I think it's easy to forget that food has to come from somewhere. I put achievements in flash games for congregate